Welcome, ladies. Have you ever talked to a guy and felt like you're the one who's doing all the talking? You put yourself out there, trying to connect, but it feels like pulling teeth just to get him to say more than a sentence or two. It can be awkward, even discouraging, when it feels like you're carrying the entire conversation on your own. You start to wonder, is he shy? Bored? Just not into you? Is there something that you're missing? So many women run into this and think it's their fault. But what if there's a better way to draw him out? This video is all about turning those one-sided conversations into meaningful connections. I'll share strategies you can use right away, ways to ask a man the kinds of questions that spark real conversation and make him want to keep talking to you. It's not about changing who you are, it's about shifting your approach in how you get to know a guy. Welcome to Love Now. If you're new here, I'm Virginia Goodhart, author, relationship coach, wife, and mother of 2 teenage girls, and my mission is to help women of all ages find, date, and keep the men of their dreams. So, if love is what you're looking for, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I post new content frequently, tips that you can use today to get the man you've always wanted. Let's get into it. When it comes to talking, most guys are notoriously taciturn. Men speak less and use fewer words than women, preferring to do things instead of talk about them. They're often silent in relationships, a trait that tends to drive their partners crazy. And in casual conversation, like the first time that you meet a guy, most of them hold back a lot more than they'll share with you, as if it's their nature to say as little as possible and let you do the talking. But it doesn't have to be this way. Questions are the key to getting him to open up. If you ask a man good questions about himself, he'll talk to you for hours. To him, he is the most interesting person in the world, at least until he falls in love with you. He wants to talk about himself, not because he's a narcissist, but because his life story means much more to him than anybody else's. He wants to share that story and be admired for it. That is, he wants you to be genuinely interested in him. Only then will you become truly interesting to him, too. That may sound terribly selfish, but think about it. Every human being perceives himself or herself as the center of the universe. Think about that for a moment. It's the point of view that matters. No matter which direction you look, you're looking outward from yourself. You are where existence starts and ends, or so it seems. And so it goes with men and conversation. It's human nature to be far more fascinated by ourselves than other people. If you can mirror that fascination, that is, if you can show a man that you're intrigued by him, you'll find no shortage of men who want to talk with you. Here are some tips. Tip 1. After you give a man a compliment, ask him a question. In my previous video, I talked about how to compliment a man. But complimenting him is only the beginning. After you say something nice about a guy, follow up with a question that's related to your compliment. Here are some examples. You have such a nice smile. Are you having a good night? You're a great dancer. Do you take lessons? You're very handsome. Have you ever tried modeling? That's an amazing tattoo. Is there a meaning behind it? I love that cologne. What kind is it? I noticed you as soon as I walked in. Do you come here often? Questions help a guy accept your compliment without embarrassment and also get a conversation started. If you simply compliment a guy but don't ask him a question, there's not much he can say besides, "Gee, thanks." Okay, here's tip number 2. Begin with the obvious. You don't need to stress about coming up with something clever to say. Simple works just fine. Most guys expect a little small talk when they first meet someone. So start with whatever you've got in common. The weather, the venue, the concert you're both attending, the food, the scene around you, and so on. Keep it light for now. For example, if you're at a bar or concert, you might say something like, "It's kind of crowded in here, isn't it?" "What are you drinking? It looks good." "Have you been here before?" "Do you know what song this is?" "The band is really good, aren't they?" Or if you're at a museum or an art gallery, try questions like these. Isn't this a fascinating painting? What do you think of this piece? Isn't that an odd choice of color? Abstract art is so weird, don't you think? What do you suppose the artist was thinking when she made this? If you could take one painting home, which one would it be? And here are some examples for a bookstore or coffee shop. Your book looks interesting. Is it any good? I can never decide what to get here. What do you recommend? That smells amazing. What kind of coffee is it? That's such a good book. Have you read any of his others? Your questions should be simple and non-intrusive. Let's check out some more examples. This time, imagine you're at the gym or outdoors. Hi, would you mind spotting me? How do you make that machine look so easy? Is it always this packed on a weekday? I haven't seen you here before. Do you come often, or are you just mixing it up today? You look like you know what you're doing. Got any tips for a beginner? Isn't this trail beautiful? Wow, that's a serious bike. Did you modify it yourself? The view up here is so amazing, isn't it? Now let's move on to some questions you can use in a travel setting, like an airport or train station. Are you headed somewhere fun or just work? Have you ever been to Europe before? Any good travel tips for killing time in airports? You look like a pro traveler, am I right? And let's not forget questions about our four-legged friends. If you're at a dog park or just out walking your pup, you could say something like this. Your dog is adorable. What's his name? She's so well behaved. What breed is she? Why do you think dogs smell each other? Ever wonder what they'd say if they could speak? And so on. These are all decent starter questions, useful for inviting a man to interact with you, but limited in depth and intellectual engagement. To really get the conversation going, it helps to be a little more insightful with your questions. So here's what you should do. Ask him something that requires more than a one-word answer. Let's illustrate this with an example of how not to do it. Consider the following scenario in which a man approaches you, but does so in a way that makes him seem too boring to talk to. Imagine you're at a museum, looking at a painting, and a man walks up and starts chatting with you. "That's a nice painting, isn't it?" he says. "Yes," you say. He nods, and the two of you continue looking at the canvas like a pair of zombies. Now what? If you're not talkative, the man will have to ask you something else. For example, he might ask, "Who's the artist?" You read the small tag on the wall and tell him, "Picasso." "Oh," he says, "are those figures supposed to be musicians?" "Maybe," you say. "Do you think it's acrylic or oil?" he asks. "Oil," you say, but for all you care, it may as well be slowly peeling wallpaper. The whole interaction is boring, right? The problem is that these kinds of questions don't delve into your thoughts, feelings, or opinions. The man who's asking the questions doesn't seem interested in you, only in dull facts. But what if the first thing he had asked was, "What do you think of the colors in this one?" Or, "Why do you suppose some artists like to distort their subjects?" Or, "What kind of emotion do you think Picasso was trying to express when he painted this?" Those kinds of questions lead to much more interesting conversation. To get someone to talk, you've got to show an interest in their point of view and how they think about things. Here's what you can do. Ask a man some questions that require thought. Questions which suggest you would like to know more about who he is as a person. These questions should be the type that help you find out what he likes, what he thinks, how he sees the world, why he feels the way he does, and so on. Here are some examples. Imagine you're at a bar standing next to a great-looking guy when a good song comes on. Boring question. What song is this? Better question. What do you think this song's lyrics are about? The point is, if you want to get into his thoughts, ask him something that will get him thinking. Here's one more example. Maybe you're both single parents and you're at a playground where your kids are playing. Boring question. How old is your daughter? Better question. Your daughter seems very athletic. Does she take after you? Always pair a question with a compliment if possible. Let's move on. Tip number 3. Ask about whatever seems to interest him. Men love to talk about the things that they're familiar with. So, one thing you can do is look at him and try to figure out what he's into. Observe him. What do you notice? Most guys have their lifestyles and interests written all over them. For example, if he has an excellent physique, you could ask him about his workout routine. If he's got a book with him, ask what it's about and whether he'd recommend it. If he drives a vintage car, ask him what it takes to keep an old vehicle looking good. If he's got a great tan, ask him what he likes to do outdoors. If he's wearing a hat from an out-of-state sports team, ask him if he's from that place. If he's wearing a necklace made of shells, ask him if he likes the ocean. If he's waiting for a flight, ask him about his destination and where else he likes to travel. So, the idea is to be observant and inquisitive and look for what seems special to him. By putting a little extra thought into your curiosity, you can make a man more curious about you too. Tip 4. Don't ask dumb questions. I'm sure you've heard somebody say, "There's no such thing as a dumb question." Well, they're wrong. People ask dumb questions all the time. Some women ask men downright stupid questions. Some women do this on purpose. That is, they play dumb so that the man will like them better. Why? Who knows? It's a dumb strategy. Never give a man a reason to think you're unintelligent. Playing dumb might give him an ego boost because he'll feel intellectually superior, but it won't earn his respect. If you're asking a question just to flatter a guy or fish for approval, he'll see through it, and fast. Men may enjoy feeling admired, but they don't want to date someone who seems clueless or insincere. Real attraction comes from curiosity, confidence, and connection, not pretending you don't know something when you actually do. Ask thoughtful questions that show you're paying attention, that you're sharp, and that you bring value to the conversation. A smart woman who knows how to listen and engage is far more memorable than one who fakes being naive. Similarly, avoid asking him questions that feel too personal, intrusive, or critical. Before you ask, think about how your question might land. Will it make him feel good? Will he actually want to answer it? Or will it put him on the spot and make him shut down? A good rule of thumb is to consider how you'd feel if the roles were reversed. If a question would make you feel exposed, judged, or defensive, don't ask it. Steer clear of sensitive topics he may not be ready to share, like money, past relationships, or anything that might touch a nerve. The goal is to build comfort and connection, not tension. For instance, if you've just met a man, do not ask him any of the following. Don't ask him how much he earns or anything to do with money. If you do, you may as well wear a cheap tube top with the words "gold digger." Don't ask about his shoe size. There's no proven correlation between the size of a man's feet and the length of his penis. Even if there was, most guys would lie before admitting they're not well hung. Don't ask him if he's single or if he's married or if he has a girlfriend. His relationship status is an important thing to consider, but the question is a waste of time. Why do I say that? Because if a man isn't single and he's committed to his partner, he'll let you know, or you'll see a wedding band on his finger. Move on. If he has a girlfriend but he's dissatisfied with her and glad he's now met someone new, you, that is, he'll leave her for you, so the question is irrelevant. If he's in a relationship but he's a cheating douche nozzle who's willing to betray her, he won't tell you, or her, for that matter. So again, the question, "Do you have a girlfriend?" won't make any difference. Don't ask him about his astrological sign. Admitting that you believe in astrology will make you seem ditzy. Don't ask him how old he is. If he looks too young or too old for you, why bother flirting with him? Don't ask him if he's straight. You'll find out soon enough. Don't ask him what kind of car he drives. Men rightly understand this to be code for, "How much money do you make?" Don't ask him questions that might be emotionally burdensome for him. Don't ask him questions that make you sound ignorant, like "Where's Norway?" or "Who's Mark Twain?" And definitely don't ask him what he thinks of marriage. It's way too soon to bring that up. Again, these are just examples of the types of questions to avoid. I'm sure that you can think of others if you want to. But instead of focusing on what you shouldn't ask, it's easier to just remember this. Ask a man the kinds of questions that he'll enjoy answering. If you can do that, he'll talk to you for hours. But what about you? What's your go-to question when you're trying to spark a real conversation with a guy? Has a man ever asked you something you didn't want to answer? I'd love to hear about it. Please leave a comment below. And while you're down there, hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and be sure you subscribe to this channel for lots more smart, real talk on dating, finding love, and building a relationship that lasts. And if you're having trouble meeting good, high-quality men, I encourage you to check out the Love Now book series, which I co-wrote with my husband, Dr. Richard Goodhart. These books are absolutely packed with the world's most in-depth relationship advice. Seriously, we cover everything, from catching a man's eye to getting a proposal. We've got it all, even topics way too spicy for these videos. All 3 books are free on Amazon's Kindle Unlimited. Please see the link in the description below for details. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, stay real, protect your heart, and love as if there's no tomorrow.